Hello everyone, amateur meteorologist. First in weather here, it is October 18th, 2020, and I know many of you must be quite surprised right now to see just how quickly that very cold forecast for the first half of and even the second half of October has just essentially vaporized for the eastern half of the coast, or in the eastern half of the United States. And if you recall, in my last video, I did mention how about a week ago how what many people were calling for, the extensive cold in the east, which is simply not going to happen because of that progressive ridge in the southeast steadily being advanced westward by the GFS and European, and that is what we have seen. If we look at the 6-hour average precip rate with some of the 1,500 millibar thickness, you can see that the main cold is really just bottled up here in the northern part of the country, while the rest of the country sort of has just essentially mild Pacific air flowing in. And you can see the GFS is actually very powerful with these cold air intrusions in the west and Midwest. And it stretches it all the way to the East Coast, but just until basically along the Mississippi, and east of that, it's quite warm for the next 10 days or so, with temperatures running anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees, or about 2 to 3 degrees above average for the next 10 days. While here in the West, I expect temperatures to be anywhere from 5 to 10 degrees below average in spots. Some really, really powerful cold air outbreaks and some really good troughs. If we look at the European model is kind of saying the same thing. In general, just extreme troughing out here, ridging right here. And then finally, the European is hinting at some sort of troughing during late October. But this is what both models have been doing now at the end of their model cycles now for the past week or so. So as we get closer and closer to every event, the trough shifts to the west and the Bermuda high shifts to the west. So in the past 15 days or so, this area has been quite cold, and it looks to stay like that for at least the next 10 days. Temperatures running on average 5 to 10 degrees below average here, 2 to 3 degrees above average right here. So a very similar pattern to what we've been seeing the past 2 winters. And again, that does sort of bring back the memories of the East Coast really missing out last year and the year before that because of that persistent and stubborn Bermuda high. If we look at the GFS Ensemble model, because the GFS has been being a little wacky lately, showing a lot of crazy scenarios. So let's look at the Ensemble to sort of even things out. This is the 2-meter temperature anomaly forecast, and you can see just how cold it is in this area of the country. And this has been a theme now for almost the past 2 to 3 years, with almost all of the country being really warm during the winter, but this area right here in blue seeing very cold winters. And in fact, if you look at 30-year warming trends, this area of the country is the only area that has not warmed and has in fact slightly cooled over the last 30 years. So really just impressive stuff to see this persistent pattern of cooler than average conditions in this part of the country. And as we go through time, look at that. The GFS Ensemble has a big shot of cold air coming here. You can see this cold front right here. But then after that, its progression really just stops. It does not advance to the south because of that persistent Bermuda high. So all that cold, very cold air is locked up right here, and it's not progressing to the east. And as that continues until by the 30th, the GFS finally brings it to the east, but I think that is just the solution being so far out that it just evens out. I think basically till the end of the month, we're going to have a cold west and a very warm, well, not very warm, but a warm east, essentially east of the Mississippi and up into the I-95 corridor. You're not going to see that many cold air outbreaks. You're going to see temperatures running 5 to 10 degrees above average in terms of high temperatures around each day. You're going to have a couple cold shots, especially in the Northeast, but for the most part, the real cold will be in this area right here. And so with that dominant trough axis setting up right here and that ridge, you're going to have some very fast-moving, essentially storm systems riding up here. And so you're going to have the potential for some pretty big early season snows anywhere in this region right here, and also above average precip, which should help with the drought conditions a bit in these areas. But again, I think you will have some pretty good fall snows in the Midwest. States like Iowa, North Dakota, South Dakota, Nebraska, Montana, Wyoming. Definitely some above average snowfall for the month of October is looking likely because of this pattern. While here, you're going to be a bit drier than average, and you're going to also be a bit warmer than average. And the reason for this, well, it's the PNA. The NAO and AO are relatively negative right now, but the PNA has just tanked into the negative value. And so that promotes troughing in the west and that stubborn Bermuda high in the east. and that's exactly what we're seeing right here. So this is a very short video, guys. Just wanted to explain to you what's going on in the atmosphere and why. And I hope you enjoyed. Just keep in mind that for cold weather lovers on the east, it does not look to be that cold or that cold of an October for this year. Basically along the Mississippian east, especially in the southeast. So just stay prepared for that. My winter forecast thoughts are coming out soon, so stay tuned. I'll see you next time.